Hello and welcome to This Week on Planet Earth. I'm your co-host Matty.
And I'm your co-host Jacob. And each week, basically, we're going to be breaking down the latest space exploration, science, and technology news.
So without further ado, let's get into this week's stories. So my first story is, it follows on from last week actually. It's an article on space.com and it talks about how the Chinese rocket booster that was used to launch the Chinese space station that I mentioned last week has now fallen back to Earth. It's landed over the Arabian Peninsula. Luckily, no one's died, as we know of.
Social media, space social media anyway, this week has been terrifying. Everybody's been well scared of where this thing's going to land.
Yeah, space debris has definitely been in the news a lot more, which is good. But yeah, that was an article on space.com. If anyone wants to go and check that one out. And then my second piece of news was actually from The Guardian, and it talks about how the Royal Mail, which is the UK sort of postal delivery service, has started or is planning to do trials for using drones to deliver mail in the Scilly Isles. So flying from from the sort of British mainland over to some islands that are nearby. And the article is quite interesting, and it sort of has a nice picture of what these drones are going to look like. And the Royal Mail says that they're going to use the drones to sort of send PPE and COVID-19 test kits from the UK mainland to the Scilly Isles. And it's going to be about a 70-mile journey that it's going to be taking. So it's quite a long journey for a drone. And sort of in the article, they talk about how they're sort of, it's both funded by the government and also a consortium of the University of Southampton. And it's quite interesting because I have seen there's been a few of these things sort of during the pandemic over the last year, flying things out to sort of remote locations where they don't really want to be sending people. So it's quite interesting, and I think will definitely be something that's used a lot more in the future. And it's quite surprising that the Royal Mail, which is a bit of a sort of an old school postal service, has done this first rather than Amazon or another company like that.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I'm surprised that drones can fly that far, if I'm honest with you. I wasn't aware that they can do those kind of distances. That's well cool.
Yeah, when I say drone, this isn't some sort of like DJI quadcopter thing. This is basically a plane.
Okay.
It's about the size of a small truck. So it stretches what you might think of as a drone, but it's going to be an autonomous vehicle that is flown.
So it's like in between like a military drone and a civilian drone kind of thing.
Yeah, that sort of size.
Cool.
So that was my sort of two briefer news stories. So do you want to move on to what you had lined up?
Yeah, sure. So my first brief news story of the week is about the James Webb Telescope. And basically, it's just having its final couple of tests. They were doing the Golden Mirror test this week. And yeah, it's just the successor of the Hubble telescope. It should be leaving Earth's orbit this year in October, I think, if everything goes well. But yeah, so they're doing the last few tests on their 6.5 meter Golden Mirror, and if all is well, it'll be packaged up into its Northrop Grumman. Can never say that. Northrop Grumman rocket and sent up into space. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, they say October. It has been delayed by years already, so
yeah,
don't hold your breath on that one.
Yeah, I can't wait for that thing to go up as well. It's going to be awesome. Some of the new photos that it's going to see. But so my second little space story for the week. All my news this week is space, by the way, guys. But second space story of the week is the SpaceX Starship prototype making a clean landing. So it was SN15 that completed a successful high altitude ascent and landing. Now, I know a couple of the other ones have actually landed and then exploded and stuff, but this is like the first time it's fully landed and everything went well. And they were saying, I think Elon Musk was saying in an interview that it could be as early as next week that they're thinking about giving it another test because they want to show its reusability. But I just think it's awesome. Every time I watch these Starship like streams and stuff, I find it so interesting. I love watching the thing glide across the sky and then flip background and land.
Yeah, when it does the belly flop, it's just amazing. Did you watch this one live? Or
Yes, yeah.
I missed this one.
Yeah, no. Fortunately, I'm always like the last 2 times the SNs like have done their hops. I've been ill off work, and like because it's been great because these streams are like 8 hours long. I just lie on the sofa with like the duvet, and I just it's fueling. Oh, they're clearing the pad. Oh, they've closed the road. It's happening. So it's quite fun to be fair.
If it happens for the next one, your boss might start getting a bit suspicious.
He'll be like, "What's wrong here? Are you just giving yourself food poisoning every time you want to see them?" But no, it's very cool to watch, and I'm excited every time they have a breakthrough. It's always positive, and I can't wait to see this Starship stacked on top of another booster. It's going to look insane because it's quite funny when people see it. They're like, "Oh, it's the Starship. It's quite small," and it's like that's just the little thing that's going on the top of this giant rocket.
Yeah, that's the article that you've put here on the BBC has got a sort of diagram of Starship against Saturn V and Falcon Heavy, and it's just huge, isn't it? So...
Yeah, no, it's absolutely massive, and I don't think people quite like realize yet, but. No, it's very cool. But yeah, they're my 2 little stories. If we want to move into our main ones, if you want to do yours first.
Yeah, so my sort of more in-depth piece of news of the week. It's sort of an ongoing bit of news. It's not something that's particularly happened this week, but it's about sort of Apple Airtags and Tile and a new system called Amazon Sidewalk. So I'm guessing you've seen about Apple Airtags over the last sort of month or so. So for anyone that's not seen them, Apple Airtags are these little sort of widgets that you can connect. You can hook onto stuff, and it basically tracks where it is. So you can put one in your bag, and if you lose your bag, you can sort of find it and things. And
kind of a good idea in a weird way.
Yeah, I've seen a sort of few articles about it, but what I sort of wanted to focus on was about how this sort of finishes Tile. So Tile is a company that makes these things and has their own sort of version of it. And the problem that Tile has is they could do one of 2 things. Either Apple's opened up their sort of system. It uses the same sort of software that Find My iPhone and stuff uses. So they've opened up the system to third-party accessories. So someone can make one of these little trackers and then could connect it using Apple's third-party stuff. So Tile has they have a choice now of whether they go into the Find My stuff and they sort of sign up with Apple as a third party, which makes then the Tile network completely useless. Like the whole thing that Tile is trying to sell is this network of chips that you can sort of find with other Tile devices. It makes the whole network useless, and they're really just making little trackers.
Yeah.
Or they say, no, we're not going to partner with Apple, and everyone just uses the Apple one instead. I was reading this article. It said they reckon that there's about 1 Tile on every block in a city like San Francisco or New York. So it's good coverage, and you can definitely find these things. But compare that to how many iPhones and Macs and iPads are going to be on a typical New York block. It's probably going to be 100, if not 1,000. So they're really up against it, and they've got this choice to make. And it looked like they were basically finished. But they've announced that they're going to be working with Amazon Sidewalk, which is a new network that Amazon is developing.
Okay.
It's similar sort of low energy sort of network that they're trying to develop. And Amazon obviously already have their sort of doorbells and these sorts of things, which could then use this system. So as long as your Tile is within sort of range of one of these Amazon devices, which obviously there are a lot of as well, then it would work and you'd be able to find it. So it's sort of becoming this war at the moment of another sort of front of the tech war of sort of Apple with their sort of with their sort of devices, and then Amazon have just sort of come into it. And in this article on The Verge, they talk about how other sort of companies are trying to get into it. So Sony's doing one as well. So it sort of feels like we could be on the verge of like lots more sort of standards and different things. And, you know, back in the day when you had like 20 different types of connectors, it feels like we might be heading to that again, but with like network standards.
Yay.
Like, oh, I've got this thing. Oh, I can't connect it to your thing because it uses a different standard. Great. No.
Yeah.
So it's I'm not sure this is particularly great news, to be honest. If companies sort of don't work together, because ultimately, as a consumer, all you want is you want to buy something that's going to find your device wherever it is.
Yeah.
Like, if companies start sort of like putting ring fences around and saying, "Oh, we're not going to use this company, we're going to use this company," and it sort of defeats the point of it, doesn't it? So that was my news article, and again, it's not a piece of news in particular, but people might want to sort of look into what's sort of happening with Apple Airtags and Tile and Amazon Sidewalk.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So my final news piece for the week is the Doge 1 mission to the moon. So unless you've been living under a rock this week, it's been a pretty crazy time online. So you had Elon Musk host Saturday Night Live, which in itself was entertaining. I don't know if you saw any of the skits, Matty, but there was one where he pretended to be a financial advisor, one where he pretended to be Wario.
I've just seen him dressed as Wario.
Yeah. So he in the financial advisor one, he jokes about taking Dogecoin to the moon, and he says it's a hustle, and he talks about all these things. But then a couple of days ago, SpaceX announced that they are going to launch a mission called Doge 1, and it's all about getting Doge to the moon, basically, and it's going to be launched in the first quarter of 2022. And it's with the company accepting a meme-inspired cryptocurrency as a full payment for a lunar payload, which is just insane. It's absolutely insane that someone has managed to pay, well, has funded a space mission with Dogecoin. And this article basically goes on to say that the Geometric Energy Corporation announced that the Dogecoin-funded mission on Sunday, which SpaceX's communications team confirmed in an email to reporters, the mission's financial value was not disclosed. Because I was going to say, it would be so much Dogecoin. Like, so much Dogecoin.
What's it trading at the moment?
Well, actually, it might not be. Because currently, I think right now it's 49 cents.
I saw it plunge about 25%
Yeah.
every week.
Because they got it up to like 73 cents, didn't they? Or something. You know, I might be secretly rich, okay? A couple of months ago, no, I'm not even joking. A couple of months ago, I bought 34,000 worth of Dogecoin, right? I'm not kidding. I bought it for like 200 quid. And I've been locked out of my crypto.com account for about 4 months, and I can't get access to it because they've got my mobile number wrong, and I keep phoning them up trying to get them to change it, and it's just back and forth. But thinking about it, if I've got 34,000 coins and it's at 50 cents, that's around 18k in it.
Yeah,
that could be pretty good. I need to figure that one out.
Yeah, you definitely need to try and get back into that. But this is the most 2021 news story of all time, isn't it? Dogecoin, Elon Musk,
it is
SpaceX on the moon.
It is. It's almost funny, isn't it?
If this came out in April, I would think it was an April Fool's show.
Yeah, but he also announced yesterday that he's put up a poll, hasn't he? Now that with wanting Tesla accepting Dogecoin now as well. But no, I just thought this was kind of an interesting story because it seems like Dogecoin has been trending for weeks now, and everybody kind of seems to be getting back around it because it all kicked off, didn't it, when it was the Wall Street bet stuff a couple of months ago. After everybody had destroyed the stock market, they were like, let's go and destroy the cryptocurrency market.
Yeah,
and pump and dump stuff. But yeah, no, I thought it was interesting, and it's great marketing for the Geometric Energy Corporation. Like, even if your space mission isn't really a success, I can imagine the marketing and the amount of faces and eyes that you've now got on your corporation just from doing this will be beneficial to them.
Yeah, but definitely.
It's just interesting, and it goes to show you, doesn't it? Because like cryptocurrency, especially this one, it was made from a joke and is now being used as a viable option for payment to get stuff to orbit.
Right. The thing I enjoy is it's like the good old days of the internet where people just used to do funny stuff that had tremendous consequences.
Yeah. Legit. legit. But no, yeah, interesting. But yeah, so that's this week on Planet Earth. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Each week, me and Matty are kind of like sitting back and reviewing it. So if you notice, this week we're a little bit more lively. We're just trying to make the show the best that we can make it each week. But yeah, if you want to give us a follow for this show on social media, it's at Twope News on both Instagram and Twitter. And if you want to give the standard podcast a follow, it's at Infinite Void Pod on both Instagram and Twitter. I have been your host, Jacob Elliott Carson, and that has been your host, Matty. And we will catch you on This Week on Planet Earth next week.